Hello everyone. In the last video we talked about RAG, where RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Uh, I showed like how RAG works. I was using ChromaDB to store that data which I have created in the last video using Claude under the multiple category stored as a vector. So when I say vector, I mean to say stored in the number format. So how it works is like when I say gravity is an invisible force, how it exactly stored in database, in the vector database, is just numbers which are like nothing but like a GPS coordinate. So that's the main difference between the regular database and the vector database. Instead of searching as a keyword, which usually happen in databases, regular database, in vector database it usually check the distance. So whichever the distance is closer to your question, that will be your answer. uh, so as in the last video I have created this data set, but the problem with that data set is it is, if you will ask some questions which is not updated into this data set, you have to keep on updating this information into this data set, and that's become a tedious job. So now let's take an example. If I say uh, retest retrieval. Okay, and also I'm using MXBI embedding model, which is used to convert the data set into the embedding and store into ChromaDB. So now here I have asked these two questions to the MXBI, that which is fetching the data from the ChromaDB. What is gravity? So gravity, and second, who scored the most goals. So both of you, as you can see, they are like wrong answers. Both are not correct. That means, and both are having the good distance, but still the model is giving these answers with the confidence. That is called the hallucination, which we will fix later using ragas. How to fix them, all those things which we will discuss later. But if we want to fix this problem, like who scored most goals in the FIFA World Cup, how to solve this? So in the today's video, that's what we are going to discuss. I am going to use a Google API, Google News RSS feed API, which is nothing but a public feed. So that's what I'm going to use to fetch that data. So let's say before that, let me remove my previous version of ChromaDB underscore MaxBI. Now, no. Uh, okay, sorry. Uh, Fetch and embed. So here we are going to add a new category called who scores the most goals, or Messi World Cup goal. And as I already removed that database, let me confirm to delete it after, and let me run this fetch and embed. So what it does, basically it is fetching the data from that API, and as you can see now, it has been fetched the data from the API that Messi has break the World Cup scoring record with 17 to 18 and all this information. Now if we are going to test this, test retrieval MXBAI. Now if I am going to ask this question, who scored the most goals, and if I run, okay, so now you can see like who scored the most goals. It will tell you like Leon Messi breaks World Cup scoring record with this 17 and 18. So you see, this is what and that's how we can integrate the API to keep updating our data with the current affairs, and we don't need to continuously update our database with a static data set. We can directly feed the data, fetch the data, and embed into our database. But the problem is, today we fix this problem with a direct API call. It was simple, and I can show you the API call, fetch and embed. So here is the API call news.google.com, which was I was using to fetch the data under the certain topics, and it was able to pick those topics and get the data, and I was fetching it and using this embedding model and storing into the ChromaDB, as you can see here. But the problem is, as you can see, there are like I have written the custom code specifically for the Google News RSS. What if tomorrow I want to add weather data or a sports score? Each one requires separate API calls or custom integration. So in the next video I will show you the standard way called MCP, like to plug into the multiple data sources, and even it will be very useful when we will start working our AI agents to and that is something we will discuss, like how MCPs work and how we can integrate that with our rack system. Till then, thank you so much.